Tonight on CTV News, rocked by extortion violence.
The crucial information that the community needs is what is happening, what steps are being taken.
A South Surrey mansion is riddled with bullets again, the second shooting since the weekend. The Premier's message to police.
So it's really important to know each year, what is that property actually being used for?
Property tax loopholes, how developers and other organizations get a free pass at a time when cities are scrambling to pay for services.
The rest of society received the message loud and clearly that these kind of crimes won't be tolerated against children.
An 85-year-old former North Vancouver teacher is sentenced for sexually abusing his students. How many years he'll serve behind bars?
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Extortion-related violence is not just continuing, it is intensifying. One South Asian family has now been targeted twice in just 1 week, raising fears that these attacks are becoming more brazen and more frequent. CTV's Dimitra Maragos has the story from Surrey.
A scary series of events here in Surrey. One family home shot twice in less than a week. Why officials say they understand the public's concern. Wood boards now replacing doors to an open home. This mansion on the 17,000 block of 32nd Avenue hit twice in less than a week in extortion-related shootings. First on Saturday, caught on camera, leaving windows shattered and one person with non-life-threatening injuries. The second, Wednesday evening.
We have victims that are recoiling from what has now been a targeted incident twice.
Surrey police say since the beginning of 2025, there have been 95 extortion-related incidents and 44 involved shots being fired.
No, the numbers don't look good. The incidents don't look good. And having anyone in the community not feel safe is not great. 3
people have been deported through the efforts of the task force targeting violent extortion threats in the Lower Mainland.
I know that there is a huge level of anxiety in communities south of the Fraser around this.
Premier David Eby acknowledging the task force needs to communicate better to the public, and in terms of resources,
our team is ready to ensure that those resources and any additional changes or information that they need is made quickly available.
This has to come to a stop. Enough is enough. We need to treat this like an emergency.
Opposition leader John Rustad says the provincial government has fallen short.
We have not seen the action that needs to be taken to treat this with the seriousness that it is.
And is also calling for a federal task force to be dedicated to tackling crime in BC. He says it would be in partnership with the RCMP, CBSA, and federal agencies. And Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke agrees.
The federal government must step up.
Adding the ripple effect of extortion-related events is much greater than one can imagine.
People are sending their families away because they're too afraid to live here.
Now, SPS is calling for the public's help. If you have any information or any additional videos that could help in any of these investigations, you're asked to call their non-emergency line. Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Surrey.
The mayor of Vancouver is forging ahead with a proposal to build a Filipino cultural center, complete with a hotel. Those in the community have been advocating for decades for a designated space. But as CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports, some are not on board with the mayor's approach.
Mayor Ken Sim receiving kudos for his plans to pursue a Filipino cultural center in Vancouver.
And this is something that is dear to our hearts, and it's the least we can do.
For at least 4 decades, the Filipino community has advocated for a designated cultural hub. That desire only growing stronger following April's Lapu-Lapu festival tragedy.
Yeah, there's still a lot of emotion. I was there. I was just steps away.
On November 26th, the mayor will be tabling a motion that, if successful, will advance a cultural center on Main Street and East 4th in Mount Pleasant.
We're going to make it happen while we're in office, but if we don't for whatever reason, we're not going away. We will do it as private citizens. We are totally standing behind this because it's the right thing to do.
While support was palpable on Thursday from those involved, such as the newly formed Filipino Legacy Society,
everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a place.
The proposal has drawn criticism from other Filipino organizations.
For this type of project, though, it was actually came of a surprise.
The Mabuhay House Society says it's already been working with the province on a similar project for the last few years and feels this is premature.
There's no real structure or governance into it.
The proposal includes a 500-room hotel on top of the center.
That space needs to be a standalone building that will really replicate the diversity of our culture.
That hotel will be the success of the center.
Funds are expected to come from the province, feds, and private donors, but stakeholders couldn't answer how much it will cost or provide a timeline. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Right now, your municipal government is grappling with its budget for next year, which will determine what your property tax bill looks like and how much it'll go up. But there are hundreds of organizations in this province that pay either very little property tax or none at all. CTV's Penny Daflos now on who benefits and how it works.
At every city hall across BC, elected officials and staff are figuring out how to pay for services people depend on. They largely do that through property taxes, but in every community, there are organizations that never get a bill.
This is common in the English-speaking world.
Under decades-old provincial legislation, the community charter lays out mandatory annual exemptions for places of worship, private and independent schools, government-owned properties, including libraries and hospitals, as well as cemeteries and care homes.
So-called heads of charity are relief of poverty, advancement of education, advancement of religion, and other charitable purposes or uses that are beneficial to the community.
The law allows municipalities to decide whether to grant exemptions for charities and not-for-profits, athletic and service clubs, for example. They typically rubber stamp exemptions for the land around a place of worship.
So it's really important to know each year what is that property actually being used for.
For example, if a church is no longer used as a church, it'll have to pay up. But BC Assessment follows the legislation when determining its value.
And exemptions that are typically more determined by the actual use of the property, as opposed to the highest and best use.
A CTV News analysis of Lower Mainland communities found councils authorized $19 million in permissive property tax exemptions last year alone. The city of Vancouver is tough to compare because it follows similar guidelines to those laid out in the province, with nearly all automatic.
It is largely mandated from the city charter.
And while Vancouver and other communities can grant tax holidays for heritage revitalizations, some are taking matters into their own hands to avoid paying property taxes on undeveloped lots with a loophole.
So there's still technically a commercial property, even if it's a vacant lot. They repurpose them as community gardens or dog parks or that kind of thing, and then they can accrue pretty significant savings.
Classified as recreation properties with a property tax bill, a third of what an empty lot would be without needing permission.
October 31st is that critical date for what was the property actually being used for on that date.
And Penny joins us now. Penny, these rules about property tax, they've been around for a long time. Is there any interest in updating them?
Well, Mijang, I started trying to answer that question and found a lot of different opinions on that very topic. So tomorrow, we're going to take a deep dive into whether it's time to reassess who gets automatic exemptions and what the community gets out of it. Because you have to think every time there's an exemption, it means everyone else's bill goes up just a little bit more.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you, Penny.
Thanks.
To breaking news now, a former North Vancouver teacher has been sentenced to 8 years in prison after being convicted of sexually abusing 9 boys who were his students at the time. CTV's Yasmin Gandam is following this in the Breaking News Center. Yasmin, you spoke with one of his victims. What is their reaction to the ruling?
That's right, Mijang. One of 85-year-old Brian Malik Moore's victims says the ruling is what they expected, but it took a long time to get there, 40 months from the time the charges against Moore were laid. Moore was found guilty of 8 counts of sexual interference that occurred between 1976 and 1982 when he was teaching in North Vancouver. He was also found guilty of an additional count of touching a child for a sexual purpose in a case where the victim was a family friend who considered him to be similar to a grandfather. Moore's defense argued he should be under house arrest because of his age, but the judge ruled prison time was warranted despite his health issues, including heart disease and 3 past cancer diagnoses. One of his victims said Moore's crimes had devastating consequences.
We identified 32 victims, 5 of which had committed suicide, and 12 of which had the ability to step forward and press criminal charges, 9 of which resulted in actual guilty verdict. So, you know, that even that shows you, of the 32 that we knew of, the real number is probably 3 times that, if not.
Now, Cooper says he thinks the judge's decision was important to show society that regardless of his age, these crimes against children will not be tolerated. He says given Moore's age, he will likely be spending the rest of his life behind bars. Mijung?
Thank you, Yasmin. It is 6:10. Let's take a look outside at Robson Street. The rain has stopped,
Yes.
and it was pretty stormy all day today.
Yep.
My umbrella nearly flew away.
Mine definitely did.
Very windy.
It flipped inside out, definitely. But the good news is dry right now because the rainfall warnings as well as the coastal statements have been lifted. But this is what it looked like earlier today at English Bay. Take a look at these. Yes, these videos.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Waves lapping up along the seawall. Strong winds and king tides caused flooding in the areas. At least one boat, as you can see there, was victim to the storm, crashed along the seawall near Sunset Beach. Parks Board do expect that these strong waves will continue as we head into the weekend, so watch out for flooding in the area. So as we head into the next 24 hours, we are going to enjoy the calm in between storms. So overcast skies tonight will drop down to 6 degrees, cloudy skies throughout the day tomorrow. The rain returns as we head into tomorrow night.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And it looks like a wet weekend ahead as well. I've got those details coming up.
Yeah, whenever it's windy like that, there's always a few boats that are the casualties and get hit to the shore.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks, Ann. The Prime Minister is fast-tracking 6 major projects across Canada, including 2 in BC, as part of what he calls a nation-building strategy.
Silisms will become Canada's second largest LNG facility with a capacity to export 12 million tons of LNG every year to new markets.
The proposed floating facility near Prince Rupert is backed by the Nisga'a Nation and could provide hundreds of permanent jobs. Carney's fast-track list also includes the North Coast transmission line from Prince George to Terrace, which will double the electricity flowing to this region. But several local First Nations are vowing to fight, arguing these projects will harm the environment and people's health.
We don't have enough doctors. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough caretakers. Yet we're talking LNG and transmission lines.
Meanwhile, Terrace's mayor is calling on Ottawa to help handle the growing pains, fearing the new LNG facility will add to the local boost already being provided by the LNG Canada project in nearby Kitimat. It's welcome news for families in New Westminster and Langley. 3 new schools are on the way. As CTV's Brianne Foley reports, the province says it's committed to building the proper spaces for growing communities.
A beautiful day in Langley Township. Ignore all the evidence to the contrary. We are announcing an amazing new facility here in Langley Township.
Premier David Eby announcing that for the first time in BC, 2 schools will be built on the same campus in Langley, a middle and secondary school, citing innovation and creativity for future students.
We've been encouraging school boards to do things like prefabricated additions that can be built in half the time and at a significant reduction in the cost, to look at the possibility of multiple school sites and find other efficiencies like doing 2 or 3 sites at the same time instead of just 1.
The schools are set to open in the fall of 2027, but even with the additional space, Eby says it's still not enough.
It's hard to stand in front of a site with 2,800 student spaces and say more schools are needed, but that's absolutely the case here in Langley Township and in New West, where I announced another school this morning.
Earlier, Eby announced a new elementary school is coming to New Westminster. It will have 21 classrooms for 605 students. Construction is set to start next fall.
You have a fast-growing city like New West, where there's huge volumes of new people moving into the community, a school is a gathering place for the community to come together.
Parent advocates say more schools need to be built if housing development is being ramped up.
I think what parents need to see is certainty. Like, we need to ensure that when housing developments are, approved, that we also see corresponding coordinated planning for complete communities.
The province says since 2017, it has committed more than $6 billion to build schools, creating more than 46,000 new spaces for students. Brian Foley, CTV News, Langley.
A large show home in Delta slated for demolition will get a new lease on life, providing a valuable community amenity for a remote BC First Nation. CTV's Ben Milger has more on the massive effort that will see the home barged from Metro Vancouver to Alert Bay.
This 2,500 square foot home will soon embark on a journey north up the BC coast for a new beginning in Alert Bay on the Numgis First Nation.
It's an innovative approach that meets our urgent needs while also eliminating many of the barriers that come with new construction.
Some of those barriers include the cost of materials and transporting those materials and tradespeople to the remote First Nation off the northeast coast of Vancouver Island. The cost of relocating the house, which will make the journey by barge, will be covered by developer Bosa Properties.
We're repurposing a building that currently doesn't have a productive use. We're eliminating waste from a landfill, and we're providing a community need for the Namgi Nations.
The First Nation plans to convert the house for use as office space for its lands and infrastructure team.
These are our staff members who are doing the day-to-day work, maintaining the community, supporting members, and also laying the groundwork for future growth.
The project is a partnership with Renewal Development, which repurposes homes that still have life in them and helps coordinate transportation to remote communities. The company recently moved 10 houses slated for demolition in Port Moody to the Shishal Nation on the Sunshine Coast, where community members now call them home. It also helped transport the old yellow schoolhouse from Kitts to the Capilano Reserve, where it serves as a language nest for the community's youngest members.
The partnerships and the friendships and the allyship that exists around this group right here is helping to move us to find solutions to some seemingly complex problems.
Each year in Metro Vancouver, nearly 3,000 buildings are demolished. This group hopes to save many more of them to turn into community amenities. Ben Milger, CTV News, Delta.
Bearing it all for cancer research, a unique fundraiser with a risque dress code. And some people on disability will see a hike in their payments. Also ahead, what emails from sex offender Jeffrey Epstein say about Donald Trump and former Prince Andrew. The White House in damage control when CTV News continues. Stay with us. It's not even mid-November, and this weekend's events have already taken a distinctively festive flair. Christmas markets, light displays, and scuba claws are just some of the attractions on offer. We've got a full list on our website, ctvnewsvancouver.ca. The union representing more than 36,000 provincial workers says it has ratified an agreement reached with the province. The BC General Employees Union says 89% of workers who took part voted in favor of the tentative agreement. Under the agreement, employees will receive an annual 3% wage increase for 4 years, along with targeted pay adjustments for the lowest paid workers. The vote marks the official end of the 8-week-long strike by public service workers across the province. Plenty of fireworks at Vancouver City Hall over the mayor's proposal for a 0% tax increase for next year. More than 600 people signed up to have their say on the 2026 budget. Many are not happy, fearing key services will be slashed.
I don't play the accordion or juggle or dance, so I don't have any fun stunts today. Which makes me feel a little bit out of place because it's hard not to see this entire process as a big stunt.
Ken, I hope you're listening and not tuning any of this out because you work for me.
The 2026 budget draft is nearly $2.4 billion, dubbed a Back to Basics plan, focusing on frontline services like community centers and public safety. Mayor Ken Sim says the plan provides financial relief. So far, full details of what services or programs could be cut have not been released. The budget will go to a vote on November 25th. Tickets are now selling for a bold and rather revealing cocktail party in North Vancouver. Proceeds for the event will go to charity. But that's not the spicy part of this next story. As CTV's Sinjin Alexander reports, anyone going may do so au naturel.
The Pipe Shop venue in North Vancouver will be transformed Friday into an event like few others. Drinks will be served, there will be dancing, but many partiers won't be wearing a stitch.
It's the world's first clothing-optional cocktail dance for cancer awareness.
That's right, the event with nothing to hide and organized by Mayak Manny may be the first of its kind. A cocktail party with no need for a cocktail dress. Clothing optional.
Yes, it is.
To be clear, we're now going to show you bare images. Yes, this soiree will be one with nature, out in the open, au naturel, if you like.
You can be wearing anything, you can not be wearing anything, you can be wearing something, it's up to you. It's a very inclusive space.
There is a serious side to the party. Manny organized it after learning about cancer treatments that makes the skin so sensitive, even wearing a bedsheet is painful. He remembers in particular the words of a patient.
She said something like, I might not die of cancer, I might die of shame.
And so this weekend's birthday suit event will raise money for the Save Your Skin Foundation and Vancouver Friends for Life Society.
Be kind, be chill, no aggressive, destructive, or unsafe behavior.
By the way, finding the venue was the hardest part because there are so many regulations about serving alcohol. The potential nudity? Didn't seem to faze anyone. They didn't care about that.
No, nobody cared about that, no.
But they cared about the booze.
They cared about the booze.
So on Friday at the Pipe Shop, drink if you like, dress if you like. But sorry, no minors. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, North Vancouver.
Well, the province is boosting financial support for couples on disability assistance. Starting December 1st, partners will receive the same allowance as two single people. A change advocates say ends the so-called marriage penalty. And starting January, families where only one person has a disability designation will see higher earning exemptions, allowing them to keep more of the money they earn. The government says more than 10,000 families will benefit from the changes. A groundbreaking ceremony was held in Surrey today to celebrate construction of a new high-rise tower in BC's fastest-growing city.
Surrey is growing faster than almost any other city in Canada, and that means we need thousands of new homes, thousands. And we need places like this, especially the development of our hospital district.
Atlas Tower, a new 41-story mixed-use development, will be built across from Surrey Memorial Hospital. The new building will feature more than 450 new rentals, as well as 67,000 square feet of medical outpatient space. New questions about the relationship between sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. The growing calls to release all the Epstein files. Also ahead.
Illicit Russian procurement networks seek to illegally acquire Canadian goods and technologies.
Sounding the alarm about China and Russia spying on governments and businesses in Canada's Arctic. What they're doing with the intel they gather. That's ahead. South of the border, the White House is downplaying the newly released private emails from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's estate. Among the 20,000 documents released in several exchanges, Epstein references his friend Donald Trump, casting new scrutiny on their relationship. CTV's Joy Malbin has more from Washington.
In newly released emails, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein wrote a New York Times reporter in 2015, suggesting he might have dirt on Donald Trump. Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? And in 2019, when President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's criminal behavior. He wrote, of course he knew about the girls, and he asked Ghislaine to stop. Epstein also confirmed in an email the former Prince Andrew was photographed with one of Epstein's victims, the late Virginia Giuffre, contradicting Andrew's claim that he never met her.
Categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all.
President Trump has denied all allegations of wrongdoing, but his administration continues to push back against releasing the Justice Department's case files, FBI investigations, names, and the scope of Epstein's crimes. Abuse survivors pleading for the truth to come out.
Just rip the Band-Aid off all at once, give the public what they need, and give us what we need, which is transparency. The other survivors, my survivor sisters, they're not going away.
In Washington, the politics are shifting. More Republicans now are joining Democrats demanding full public disclosure of Epstein's crimes.
I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president.
The pressure on this White House is not letting up. Democrats now have the numbers to force a vote next week that could lead to the full release of the Epstein files. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Canadian Security Intelligence Service Director Dan Rogers says spies from China and Russia have a significant interest in the Canadian Arctic.
As was recently highlighted in the media, illicit Russian procurement networks seek to illegally acquire Canadian goods and technologies, which they move to Russia through a complex series of front companies.
Rogers says CSIS has seen intelligence collection efforts targeting government and private businesses. He adds that information has been provided to Inuit and territory governments to help them consider national security when forming partnerships with foreign companies and investors. The Canadian Coast Guard officially accepted delivery of its newest research vessel today at Seaspan's North Vancouver shipyards.
The Coast Guard ship Napaleptic will become the Canadian Coast Guard's largest dedicated science vessel and the fourth large vessel delivered to the Coast Guard under the National Shipbuilding Strategy.
The 88-meter vessel is packed with cutting-edge technology for ocean research, from deep-sea mapping to climate studies. Named after an Inuk elder, the new vessel is a $1.47 billion replacement for the Coast Guard's decommissioned ship Hudson. It will set sail for Victoria tomorrow before making its way to its home port in Halifax next year. Why one liquor company is moving from the U.S. to Canada because of the trade war, and
he's the most chill lab I've ever met. He just has a calming nature about him.
Meet the newest employee of a children's hospital in Alberta, how this lab is making history in healthcare as a super cuddler for kids going through tough times. That's ahead. Canadian singer-songwriter The Weeknd is stepping up to help Jamaica recover from Hurricane Melissa. The Toronto-born superstar donated $350,000 through his EXO humanitarian fund. The money will support the World Food Programme's relief efforts, reaching more than 220,000 Jamaicans. The storm hit at the end of October, devastating the island. Since launching his fund in 2022, The Weeknd has contributed more than $6.5 million to global hunger relief. A dog in Edmonton is making history as he starts a new job at a children's hospital.
He's the most chill lab I've ever met. He just has a calming nature about him. He loves to cuddle and snuggle, and that's his favorite thing to do with the kids, is snuggle on their beds with them.
Pumbaa The 2-year-old Labrador Retriever is Canada's first dedicated child life services facility dog. Facility dogs, unlike service or therapy dogs, work in one location to comfort and support many people instead of just one. Pumbaa joined the team at Suri Children's Hospital in the summer, and staff say he's already made a huge impact on patients and families.
I bet.
Oh, adorable. That's a great idea to have a resident facility dog to comfort everyone, including the staff.
We need one here.
Definitely at CTV.
Yes.
To get us through those stressful times.
Yeah, okay. Lucy agrees. She'll come. Her salary's a lot less than mine, but she accepts for sure. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. We're enjoying a little bit of a break in between the next storms. As you can see on our satellite radar right now, we are seeing mostly clear conditions for us along the south coast. Another system just offshore will bring us more wet weather as we head into tomorrow night. So here's a look at our weather tracker right now. We're seeing partly cloudy skies along the south coast, clearing through the overnight with clouds moving its way in as we head into tomorrow morning for your early morning commute. And it stays cloudy as we head through the day. It's not until tomorrow night for your afternoon commute that we will see the next round of wet weather. So we'll see anywhere between 6 millimeters of rain for Vancouver, North Vancouver, as well as Pitt Meadows. A little more for Abbotsford and Chilliwack. You'll see 10 millimeters for Abbotsford, 12 for Chilliwack, 7 millimeters for Richmond. So you'll see light snow for the north coast. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Periods of rain will move its way in the afternoon for Port Hardy. You'll see a high of 6 degrees. Cloudy with showers and 7s for Campbell River and Comox for the South Island. Another soggy day ahead for Tofino, Port Alberni, and Nanaimo, looking at temperatures between 7 and 9 degrees. Staying dry for the Southern Gulf Islands and Victoria with highs to 9 as well. For the Sunshine Coast, overcast skies and 7 degrees. That's what you can expect up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish, with a few sunny breaks for Whistler and a high of 5 degrees. And for us across the lower mainland, we're looking at temperatures between 8 and 9 degrees under cloudy skies. Enjoy it because the rain returns tomorrow night, continuing into Saturday and Sunday with a few scattered showers on Monday before it clears out of the way. And then it's looking dry for Tuesday with some sunny breaks in there. Overcast skies for Wednesday. Mostly cloudy conditions with a high of 9 on Thursday. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So a little bit of break right now and tomorrow. Enjoy it because more rain heading into the weekend.
Yeah, it's nice having this little break after last night and this morning's storm.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Anne. Well, the trailer is out for Wuthering Heights, a new spin on the classic story of tortured lovers by Emily Bronte. Also ahead.
The first thing going through my head, oh my gosh, I need to record this because nobody's going to believe me.
Machine malfunction. A car owner getting a gas notice. The meter kept running even when he pulled the nozzle out. His warning to others coming up. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 20 cents, closing the day at $58.69 a barrel. Gold lost more than $19 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones were both lower, down 573 points and 797 points, respectively. The head of the distiller that makes sourpuss liqueur says he has no choice but to move production to Canada amid the Canada-U.S. trade war. Minnesota-based Phillips Distilling Company says the brand lost virtually all of its business in Canada after most provinces took American booze off shelves in response to Donald Trump's tariffs. CEO Andy England says nearly 98% of the 1 million bottles of sourpuss it sold last year were in Canada, amounting to Canadian sales of $23 million. Many of us are trying to watch our money these days, and now you may want to keep a closer eye on the gas pump the next time you fuel up. That's because one driver says after he finished pumping his gas, the meter kept running even though no fuel was coming out. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
It's something many of us have to do every week, stop to fuel up at a gas station. In mid-August, Sergei Alexandrov of Vaughan says he was buying fuel when something strange happened.
As I was taking out the pump, the numbers kept running on the meter without any gas being dispensed. I caught that on video.
Holding his phone in one hand and the gas pump nozzle in the other, it clearly shows the liter and dollar amount continue to increase even though no fuel was being dispensed.
It was a worrying situation because the meter kept running and it's like as if I'm being scammed out of my money. So the first thing going through my head, oh my gosh, I need to record this because nobody's going to believe me.
Alexandrov says he was unable to get answers from the gas station as to what happened. After 2 months of questioning customer service, he was offered a gift card and a refund of his gas purchase. He feels he was overcharged less than 50 cents, but is concerned it may have happened to other customers as well.
But what was going through my mind is all the people that pumped the gas before me, how many extra overcharge did they collect from that?
It's clear that the machine is malfunctioned. And I mean, machines don't normally do that, but when they do, they can make awfully big mistakes.
Gas expert Dan McTagg says he doesn't suspect foul play or tampering. It says it appears the gas pump had a mechanical failure. He says pumps are monitored for accuracy and that something like this happening is very rare.
But they are state of the art and they don't normally make mistakes.
When CTV News reached out to Petro-Canada, its parent company, Suncor said, "We worked to resolve the issue as soon as it was brought to our attention, and the pump was taken out of service immediately for maintenance. We regularly inspect our on-site equipment, including pumps, to ensure everything is in working order." Alexandrov says he just wanted a straight answer.
I just want to make sure that nobody else gets affected by this.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
The trailer is out for the bold new take on Wuthering Heights, Emily Bronte's iconic 1847 Gothic novel.
Why did you leave me?
Why did you betray your own heart?
The trailer shows Bronte's star-crossed lovers Catherine and Heathcliff, played by Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, meeting as children and then become tangled in a love affair as adults. The soundtrack is a new album from Charlie XCX, which will be released with the movie on Valentine's Day.
Hey, big guy! You wanted to see us? Don't move, I'll be right up.
Everyone's favorite plumbers are getting primed for their next big screen adventure, with Nintendo releasing the trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Toad all return for a new journey across the galaxy to face off against Bowser Jr. Super Mario Galaxy hits theaters in April. Major changes to Major League Soccer when the Whitecaps season will start in the summer. That's still ahead tonight, plus strolling soundtrack. Adam finds out why an East Vancouver man walks for blocks while strumming his guitar. Next on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning Vancouver.
It's Grey Cup weekend. The Montreal Alouettes face off against the Saskatchewan Roughriders this Sunday. Friday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll have a preview of the game and the festivities. Plus, a Vancouver baker has been crowned the winner of Is It Cake? Can you tell the difference? We'll put our skills to the test. We'll see you in the morning.
On a two-strike pitch. It's a drive down the line. If it's fair, it's his moment. It is. It's tied. Judge has arrived.
Breaking news, New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge has just been named American League MVP. It's Judge's second straight MVP crown and third overall. Judge barely beat Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh for the award, with votes going 17-13 in Judge's favor. And no surprise here, Shohei Ohtani was named MVP for the National League. Historic changes are coming to Major League Soccer in 2027. The league has voted to adopt the European calendar, scrapping the current schedule that runs from February to December. The season will now begin during the summer and run until the following May, with a winter break in December and January. Major League Soccer will play a shortened season in early 2027 before the new format takes effect later that summer. Excitement is building for soccer fans ahead of Canada's first ever women's professional soccer championship this weekend between AFC Toronto and Vancouver Rise. The Rise finished 12 points behind Toronto in the regular season and advanced to the final after a thrilling semi-final win in penalty kicks against Ottawa. The two teams were considered favorites at the beginning of the inaugural Northern Super League season that kicked off just 7 months ago. Officials say the first season has been a rousing success.
$30 million in revenue in year one. And that's, for context, there was reporting out this year that the Damallsvenskan, the Swedish league, one of the best, most respected leagues in the world, been around since 1988. They had their highest year ever for revenues this year, 18 million euros. And that's after 37 years, and we've done that number in year one.
The two sides split the regular season matchups with 2 wins each and 1 draw. Kickoff for the NSL final is set for Saturday morning at 11. An old rivalry in Banff appears to be cooling off for now as 2 of the park's famous Grizzlies prepare for hibernation. The Boss and Split Lip were spotted just kilometers apart, snacking on berries along the railway. A local wildlife photographer managed to capture the encounters. The Boss, a 600-pound legend, has ruled the Bow Valley for years and has fathered half the cubs there. Split Lip, his leaner rival, is moving in on his territory. For now, though, they are just bulking up for winter instead of battling for dominance.
We'll see what happens in the spring.
Yeah. I didn't know that they had these territorial
rivalry
fights. Did Boss give Split Lip?
Split Lip, that's his name, yeah.
Well, one day he may be the boss, though. Okay, Skip the Dishes is serving up some new data on the top food delivery trends across Canada in 2025. And to no surprise, BC claimed the #1 spot for sushi orders. The food delivery service says California rolls, dynamite rolls, and butter chicken topped BC's most ordered list. BC also ranked 2nd nationally for burger orders, helping make them the most ordered dish in the country. Skip says the largest order of the year came from Toronto, where one customer spent more than $1,000 on flowers.
Ooh, who's the lucky recipient?
I know,
That's
that
amazing.
would be nice.
They're a little lazy, so they're just going to do it from Skip the Dishes.
But I'm not surprised about sushi because, it travels well.
And I order it every week, so it's basically me.
They've traced it back to Anne's address. Okay, we'll get to Sawatsky's sign-off in a moment. Yasmin's here with a preview of CTV News at 11:30.
Well, we'll have more of that emotional interview with one of Brian Ward's victims tonight. Plus, police in North Vancouver are looking for 2 suspects after an arson attack on a home on Halloween night. We'll tell you more about what happened and show you CCTV video tonight.
Yeah, since the fireworks are illegal, we don't hear about fireworks problems, but there are still problems.
There's still problems on Halloween, absolutely.
All right, thanks, Yasmin. Well, when life feels heavy, sometimes the simplest things can really lift you up. For one man in East Vancouver, that means grabbing his guitar and heading outside. Adam explains in tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
Before he took his guitar outside on this day, Drew had been feeling stuck inside for a few days.
I am trying to get some energy. I've been feeling sort of burnt out.
Perhaps it was the weather, perhaps it was his arthritis, or perhaps it was because of all the other stuff one has to worry about.
Oh, I looked for stuff.
What do you look for?
Cans, food, clothing.
But today, Drew isn't looking for anything specific because he's already found something wonderful.
The sunshine draws me out to play.
And on the sunniest of days, Drew will play a repertoire of his favorites from the 70s and 80s, while walking countless kilometers across multiple neighborhoods.
I don't have a dog. I'm not really a dog person.
So you have?
I'm more into cats.
So you don't walk a dog, so you walk your guitar?
I sort of walk my guitar, yeah.
And like people walking dogs inevitably stop and talk with other people who have dogs, Drew usually meets other people who play music, or at least appreciate it.
Well, music is universal. It's transformative. It just gives your life some meaning the way anything else might.
And by the time he reaches this park, instead of throwing a dog a ball, Drew will try playing something equally energizing.
Feel it. You feel like you want to jump up and dance.
And like walking a dog on a nice day can make you feel good, by the time he and his guitar return home, Drew has no doubt he'll be feeling even better. Adam Swansky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Seeing that sunshine, though, doesn't it make you pine for some blue skies?
Yes.
It's
go out in the rain. Yeah, it's going to be a while. So enjoy it in this video. All right, this is a photo of the calm after the storm today in the River District. Thanks, David, for sending this gorgeous shot in. And we want you to email us your scenic snapshot at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Beautiful shot. River District changing so much.
I know.
Yeah. All right, thanks for joining us tonight.